And welcome back to Blue Jays Today, where today, guys, we've received a very, very interesting Vladimir Guerrero Jr. update. Is it finally time to get an extension done? We're going to talk about the latest update that came from Hector Gomez and give our 2 cents on whether we think it's going to happen, whether we think it's a reasonable offer, etc., etc. And as well, we've got some interesting updates from spring training camp, including the announcement of the opening day starter for your Toronto Blue Jays. Opening day, by the way, just 10 days away. We can't wait to watch with y'all at Amsterdam Brew House. If you guys haven't reserved your seats already, make sure you click the link in the description. Go to Open Table, 12:30 p.m. Amsterdam Brew House on March 27th. We'll see y'all there. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. It is going to be awesome, everybody. I promise you. You know what? Not only are you going to get to take work off, but also you're going to be here with the lads watching baseball. It's going to be phenomenal. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Jim Riley, Ballcap Sports. Go check out his content if you haven't already done so, guys. Saying, Hector Gomez, stop playing with our emotions. It feels like he does like to do that, especially with Toronto Blue Jays fans. It feels like we brought him up countless times on this channel over the course of, this past offseason and in off seasons prior to this one. But a lot of times, especially lately, he has been on to something. He is, granted, he did say an extension was going to get done with Guerrero, and that obviously didn't happen. Could still happen. There is still time. We're going to get to that right after I give a quick shout out here to Taylor and saying, with a $2 dono, thank you very much, La Maquina / Amsterdam Brewhouse. Let's go. That, of course, spoiler, it is Jose Barrios who is the opening day starter, folks. We're going to talk about that, but that is who we're going to be watching on March 27th at Amsterdam Brewhouse. So get your tickets now. Let's flash over to this report by Hector Gomez. Stop playing with our emotions, Hector. Hector came out and said, source, the Blue Jays are planning to make a new offer to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., which will be close to what he's looking for. According to the source, the Jays' offer would be in the range of 14 to 15 million years and 500...
14 million?
Sorry.
Can you imagine?
Sorry. That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Years, and 550 to 600 million dollars. So holy shit, mother of God, that is a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. Now let's all just take this again with a grain of salt and take his 2 cents, because he says a lot of things before. But if the Blue Jays are planning to make that new offer, then that's exactly what Vladdy has asked for, and we're presuming that's exactly what he's asked for. He's come out before and said, my offer was under $600 million, less than $600 million. Okay, well, what's the closest to less than $600 million?
Pretty much the range.
550 to $600 million. And he wanted 14, maybe 15 years. He's come out and said that. So if they are literally going to offer this, and they give him that offer, then Vlad, you have to take it, because if you don't take it, then what are you doing? And we've talked about this, and we'll bring it up again. The offer he's already getting for 14 years, $500 million with 50 deferred, so 450 with 50 deferred. That is more than reasonable for a player like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who over the course of his career has been up, who's been down. He hasn't had numbers like Juan Soto. He doesn't have a two-way sensational talent like Shohei Ohtani. And so getting that type of deal with the market where it's at, the $500 million for 14 years, is more than reasonable. So if they offer you even more and getting closer to what you want, then you should accept it. Now the question is, will the Blue Jays do that? What are your thoughts on Hector Gomez here before we get into it all?
First things first, okay, you were bringing up that, realistically the offer he's already got is pretty ridiculous. I want to flash over and just highlight his career numbers and then compare them to somebody that he always gets compared to, which is Rafael Devers, right? You got Guerrero over here. Very good career numbers. Very good, right? This is a solid player. This is somebody that you want on your baseball team. Going over to Rafael Devers, very similar career numbers. OPS within 10 points of each other. Pretty much everything is within 10 points of one another right now. Devers has a couple more years under him, so a bit more production. But, Guerrero could catch up with there, being in the league a little bit longer. And Devers is 2 years older than Guerrero. Granted, he signed his extension a little while ago. Now, Rafael Devers, who, again, has always been compared to Guerrero. Guerrero always to Devers. Which one would you rather prefer? I mean, Devers may be more consistent. Vladdy with higher upside. We can argue till the cows come home about that. Devers gets paid his contract.
315 million.
Yeah. Go over to the next slide right there. The next one right here. Yeah. Devers gets paid $313.5 million. Now, these are two players that are very similar to one another.
Right.
Now, granted, okay, there's been some inflation since when he signed it, all that stuff. Guerrero, is now, granted, he'd be around the same age when Devers signed his, but okay, fine. Like, you factor all these things in. Is Vladdy worth almost double of what Devers is getting? Because that's where we're going right now, right? Devers gets paid, $315. Vladdy would be, if he signed this deal, almost double that total value.
Yeah, no, he's not worth it, at the end of the day. But, then you also could compare on the other side of things, like, is Vladdy worth, 2/3 of Juan Soto? And there's something compared there. Because, like, Devers signed his contract at a time where it was perfect timing for the Red Sox. Like, he didn't have to go, if Devers had to go through all this, like, Ohtani and Soto crap, he's probably up there too, right there with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. asking for $500, $600 million. It's just the poor timing of things. So, like, I hear what you're saying. We're like, direct comparison, no. Vladdy's not double the price of Mr. Rafael Devers, but we're in this new market right now where we have the whole Shohei Ohtani thing and the Juan Soto thing that happened the last couple of years where the market just got drove out of proportions. But if we're going to take that as an example, like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you had Mr. Juan Soto get what, $60 million average annual value per year?
Oh, I don't remember the math, but
and then it was
a crazy amount.
And then it was $70 million for Shohei Ohtani. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., what he's asking for right now is about just over $40 million per year. And is he $40 million per year in this new market compared to, let's say, Juan Soto, who's getting $60 million per year? Let me throw that at you. That's 2/3 of Juan Soto. What would you say?
Okay, well, first off, can you confirm that Soto is $60 million a year? Like, is that what he is right now? But it does that. So you're saying that if he got paid, what is it, at $600 million over 14 years? Is that what that works out to be? Like 40 something million a year? Is that?
Yeah, that's kind of what it works out to. Oh, looking at what Vladdy wants, he wants just over $40 million per year.
Right.
So his AAV is $61 billion or million dollars for Juan Soto. So, like, is Vladdy 2/3 of Juan Soto? If we're gonna do that kind of comparison,
maybe I don't know. Like, I guess when you put it that way, sure. I just don't know if I don't know if you can actively sit here and like really compare Guerrero to Ohtani. Or so, like,
not Ohtani. Can't compare him to them.
They're just like different, man.
What about Soto? Because like similar, where they're not really known for their glove. Soto gets on base a shitload, hits home runs, and bats for pretty decent high average. Vladdy, we can all agree, doesn't get us on base as much, is not as proven as much. But, you're paying for an upside of, like, maybe an MVP year, which Juan Soto gives you every single year. So
that's, I guess for me, it's just, like, Soto. So, first off, Soto, everyone says, oh, he's, like, the reincarnation of Ted Williams, which, like, one of the greatest baseball players of all time ever. So, there's that. But also, too, like, when I look at somebody like a Juan Soto, I just think to myself, you have never once, ever, once ever had a down year.
His worst year His worst year was when he played for also the Washington Nationals and the Padres and gets traded, and was .853, which is Guerrero's career average.
Yeah, quite literally his worst season ever. You're doing what Guerrero has done in his career so far. Like,
and he was a free agent. Well, not AAV doesn't really matter in this, but he was a free agent before in Vladdy in terms of his age. Right.
So, I guess, like, for me, like, if you are going to be getting paid something absurd like that, like, just this is absurd money, then I want to know that, you're never going to have a bad year. And I know that Juan Soto, like, until this guy turns, 35, 36, he's never going to have a bad year because he's just fucking crazy. Whereas you can't say that about Guerrero. So, I mean, I get where people come from when they're like, okay, well, like, is Vladdy worth, 75% of Juan Soto? Yeah, maybe. But then, you can do the same thing because right before this podcast, we were pulling up Kyle Schwarber's number. Kyle Schwarber's never, ever going to get paid anything remotely. And he's not ever getting he's just not that.
Unless he's a free agent like this year and he's like, I'm looking for a 1-year deal, give me $40 million. Like, and then, okay.
Maybe. It's so hard to compare, like, because his production Is that the same as, 75% of Guerrero?
Yeah.
Probably more than that, actually, right?
Yeah.
So it's just so hard when you're comparing these guys like one-to-ones. I get where Vladdy's coming from. I understand it. I think at the end of the day, though, I land on the side of things where the Jays have given you a more than fair offer. They're mitigating your risk by signing you right now. You don't have to go in. Because if you come in and you have the same year that you had in 2023, that's assuming you're fully healthy, by the way. You have a fully healthy year, 2023. You had a 1.8 WAR that year. That's not a $500 million guy.
No, he's not.
That's That's not even a $300 million guy for fuck's sakes, right?
Yeah,
so like they are mitigating your risk so much by signing you now, which is why ultimately I thought he should have signed the previous contract. And if they do, and we haven't even touched on the fact that they might go higher than what it was that they were initially offering. But if they do that, I don't even know. I don't know how you say no.
Look, if you look at Vladdy's last 4 years, which is like, we can assume this is what we know Vladdy to be after COVID year, which is a high 887, OPS. On average, he hits like low 30s, mid 30s home runs, right? He bats for almost 300. Okay, his on base is 370. Now it's like looking a lot better if you kind of average that out. So like for me, yeah, you're right. The Blue Jays taking a risk where it's like, okay, can you give me, this type of level of production every single year? And you've only done it 2 of the last 4 years, so we're going to offer you something. I think it was like $35 million per year is what the AAV came to. But I just did the math right here while you were talking. If it was $40 million per year for 14 years, that's $560 million. And that's literally right in that range they had Hector Gomez say. So if that was the deal that the Blue Jays somehow got to, are you comfortable with that?
Well, listen, man. Like I want Vladdy here long term. I want to have somebody. Also, quick shout out here to Ann. With the $5 donation, saying, in my opinion, Vladdy's not worth more than $40 million a year. Look, I personally don't even think he's worth $40 million a year. Like I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. I love the dude. I don't think he's worth that amount of money. Maybe I'm just more on the conservative side of things. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Granted, we're talking about $40 million a year. So,
like, if he does what he averages to do in the last 4 years, okay, I could see how that market is because, well, here's the thing. Aaron Judge is getting like $40 million per year. But granted, that was 3 years ago before all this crazy market shit happened.
And then also, too, keep in mind, you're talking about something that's $40 million a year for 14 years. So like, okay, he does the next 5 or 6 years of the contract you have him for. What would that take him to? Age 32, I think. Let's say 6 years. So he's age 32 now. He averages what he's done over the last 4 years. You're really happy about that. That was worth $40 million.
Yeah.
But that was like just worth $40 million.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna have an additional 8 years of contract where it's like, what are we getting then?
I think that's why they had deferrals a little bit too. It's like, okay, well, we can feel a little bit better, if we pay this money later on and we can help build a roster around him. But I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, that's kind of what you're signing up for, right? Like when you want to sign a player like that, even Juan Soto, even Shohei Ohtani right now, like if you're going to sign this type of player, like get ready to be paying the bag. Like Albert Pujols, when he's like declining, doesn't have legs anymore.
Yeah,
you're still paying him lots of money.
Yeah,
that's the risk.
Again,
right?
That's true. I mean, I guess I'm trying to bring it all back to the are you comfortable with this question? Like ultimately, I do think that would be a pretty big overpay, $560 million. Like for him right now, for the first base, for all that stuff. But that doesn't mean I still don't want him on the team. Like, and I think the Toronto Blue Jays need to establish them or need to ask themselves, okay, if we were to sign Vladdy to a $40 million a year contract, it's $560 mil, it's 14 years, we got him here forever. If he's terrible, like if he's really bad, if he keeps getting injured, if shit hits the fan, can we still feel comfortable going out and signing other players and fielding a competitive ball team?
That's all that
even
matters.
If he's not there. Because if the answer is yes, then totally. Sign him up. I'm perfectly comfortable with it. If the answer is no, that's when I start to get a little uncomfy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, what's going to extend our future? What's going to attract free agents next year? Certainly, if we don't have Vladdy, that's not going to help. But if you have Vladdy locked down, you have a future in place, you can start buying in some bigger guys, you can start really convincing these other people to come join your team, and you can afford them, That's all I care about, really. Like, the money doesn't, I don't care how much money you make. Also, big shout out here to Abba Egger. The thing's talking over right now. Shout out to Abba Egger saying Vlad wants 550 to 600 million. Yes. And Toronto willing to give 550, no more, 12 years. Starting to think Vlad doesn't want to stay in Toronto.
I just think that, listen, I don't think that Vlad doesn't want to stay in Toronto. I just think that right now he's so intrigued by the idea of hitting free agency.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so tantalizing to him right now that it's like extremely tough to convince him to not do that. And even whether it be right or whether it be wrong, right? Because like we actually got an article up here, you know, from our friends over at Blue Jays Nation, and they were writing something similar to what I've brought up several times now, which is why Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s camp may regret their choices this winter on the free agency front. I personally think that he is overvaluing himself a little bit right now, considering he's a first baseman and considering his track record. Now, of course, if he comes out and he has his 2021 year again, that will be paid the money. Exactly. That will be a different story. But it does feel like he is looking at things like that's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that, and that's what I'm going to get paid. Whereas like there's, you know, a bunch of more times than not, that's not what happens. And in that case, I do think that, they may regret it, assuming it's the free agent market.
Like if we look at the last 4 years, which is when he, I guess, quote unquote, broke out and finally got comfortable in the league and playing a full 162. Half the time he gets paid the $600 million. Half the times he doesn't, right? And you're right. He's so confident that he's going to do it. Now, I think maybe as years go on and he enters his prime, maybe it's more likely that it's going to happen, especially just coming off a year. But we don't know that for certain. But regardless, Vladdy right now is asking for the money that will guarantee him safety and guarantee him the dollar amount that he would get if he was going to do that special good half where he's MVP up in those conversations. So, well, we'll see what happens. Look, and people who are just coming in, the news is this. The Blue Jays, according to Hector Gomez, are going to offer him the $14 to $15 million or 14 to 15 year, $550 to $600 million contract. Look, if they do it, I'm personally just going to be happy it's done and we have Vladdy locked down, because at the end of the day, forget about all the drama and how much it's worth, how much and all this stuff. We have Vladdy for the rest of his career now.
Yeah.
Like that's a locked in Blue Jay cornerstone, and we can finally build a winning team around him for the next 5 to 10 years. And that's all that really matters.
And at that point, you know, like then it is just planning for the future. Now, we've been talking a lot about what he's worth, what he's not worth, what we're comfortable with, whatever. You guys let us know in the comments down below what you think about that. Also, we got almost 300 people watching. If you haven't already done so, please hit that like, smash the subscribe button. Before we move on, we got to get back to the actual, you know, the fact of the matter here from Hector Gomez is that they're willing now to go up to that place. And this is something that
it's true, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to talk about now. Like,
why?
Why?
Why are they now?
This is, I guess for me, it's like I look at this and I'm like, okay, exciting. Toronto wants to sign Guerrero. That's awesome. And, you know, like, let's do it. But we just, you know, again, if you're Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro, you just had negotiations with this guy 2 weeks ago, right? Or whenever the deadline.
4 weeks ago.
Was it that long ago?
Actually, about a month ago now. Holy crap.
Okay. About a month ago. My bad. Yeah, sorry. Time has just flown by. But you had those negotiations with him. What's changed? Right? Like, he looks good in spring training, but so does fucking Alan Rhoda. Like, what's changed?
Do you think the public pressure has changed? Do you think public pressure plays into this
not
factor?
At all, actually. Like, I would argue, and again, like, you know, we are closely tied to this situation. We monitor this stuff daily. From my outsider looking in right now, it's looked to me like the media was harder on them a month ago, being like, get this done, you know, get this done, than they are right now. And it kind of feels like everyone's kind of just come to terms with the fact that, yeah, Vladdy is going to be a free agent, and that's just what's going to happen. And, you know, we kind of come to terms with it. So I don't think so.
What if, like, there's some sort of, like, what if Ross Atkins, the front office, whoever's making these dang decisions, kind of have us like seen around the league now that like the numbers are kind of leaking out and they've got to feel like other teams like, oh yeah, no, we'll do that. Oh yeah, no, we'll do 560. Well, yeah, we'll do 600 million. And then they're thinking, oh shit, now we got to go up to 650, 700. Now we definitely can't pay that number because like if everyone, here's the thing. Think about Juan Soto too in his case now. If everyone's already comfortable being like, yeah, no, I'll give him 550. Okay, well, it's not going to be 550. It's going to be 600, 650, 700. Like, it's going to keep going up to stupid amounts and get way out of proportion. So if you can just lock him down for what people are all willing to pay him for right now, you have a win.
Yeah, so
you know?
if again, like now for whatever reason they're hearing around the league that maybe some executives are more willing to do that deal and they're really nervous that they don't want to lose him or what have you, then I guess that could be a reason why they might want to come back to the table. I guess I would have just thought that they would have known that or not known that a month ago.
It's the Blue Jays front office, though.
I do wonder. That's why I question this report by Hector Gomez going back to all of this. It's like, I just wonder what has changed so dramatically that, now a month later, you're actually willing to offer, 50 to $100 million more than you were 1 month ago.
Yeah. And it's tough. And also again, take Hector Gomez with a grain of salt, but how does he know that the Blue Jays are about to throw out this offer, and why is he throwing this out there? Obviously, I think there's some sort of PR media play here going on. I don't know,
but for who?
That's
what purpose?
Well, that's my whole thing with Guerrero when I made that video room. It's he came out and did all this stuff about I'm going to release all the details, but I don't want it to be a distraction. I'm going to release all the details anyways. What's the purpose behind all this? What's genuinely the purpose?
I think so going back to all that, Guerrero talking about this, I think the purpose is that he wants people to get off of get off from talking about it and I assume he's thinking that, well, if I just come out and tell everybody what's happening, then we're all on the same page. Everyone's gonna now there's no speculation. No one's gonna speculate on it. Granted, I guess he just underrated the media because
I think the opposite. Honestly, we were all leaving that conversation until you kept talking.
Yeah,
I literally wouldn't have talked about it on this channel anymore until you kept talking about it.
So look, I would assume that's where he's coming from. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like there's any competitive advantage to be releasing this stuff, whether you're trying to play one side or the other, Guerrero or Blue Jays, what have you. Either way, that is where we're at right now with the Vladdy situation. Potentially Toronto Blue Jays offering up another deal to him worth 50 or 60 or 100 more million dollars that you got to if that actually happens and he does turn it down,
then he doesn't want to play here.
Frick you, Guerrero.
We already offered you you were $350 million before Juan Soto signed. Now we're giving you $500 million, and you're still turning it down. I'm
already
honestly,
pissed off at you, but that would put you right in the doghouse for me if you turn
and
that
look,
down.
I know people in our comments have been like, guys, why are we not a fan of Guerrero anymore?
I'm still a fan.
Look, I want him to hit dingers, and I'll love watching him every single time he's up to plate because he's our best effing player. Definitely.
No, I'm a major fan.
Absolutely, but let's be honest here, guys. With everything he said, now it's starting to feel like a PR scheme. Everything he said about here, want to play with Toronto, blah blah blah. Well, you would have taken the $500 million.
Listen.
You would have taken the $500 million.
Listen. I love the guy on the field. The off the field guy is pissing me off. You know what I mean? That's all there is.
That's why I want it to be over. I don't want to think about it. I just want to move on. If we sign him, sure, there's going to be a couple of days of fallout of was this the right decision? Maybe it'll be even a couple of videos in the offseason. Is he worth the contract? But that's it. It's over.
That'll be that, everybody. Well, I'll tell you right now, the best way to move on, folks, is to head on down to Amsterdam Brewhouse. Guys, let's give a quick shout out to them right now. The next segment that we're talking about is presented by Amsterdam Brewhouse. They are a short 5-minute walk away from the Rogers Center, where the best Jays fans tailgate pre-post game. We are some of the best Jays fans. We're going to be there on March 27th. Book your tickets now. If you don't have tickets to the game, there's tons of TVs there, so we're going to be doing a live play-by-play on March 27th, folks, along with a pre-game show that's exclusive to the people that show up right there. Going to be tons of fun. They have damn good craft beer. It's locally brewed in Toronto, by the way, folks. So if you're all pissed off right now about what's going on between the States and Canada and all those political things, well, you can buy Canadian, and that is Amsterdam Brewhouse. Check out their latest at the Brewmasters at Amsterdam with their always rotating adventure brews. It's located on Queens Quay 245. Yeah, man, it's a great spot. Like I said, link in the description to go get tickets. It's free, by the way.
It's free.
The event's
tickets.
fully free. The tickets are simply just to book your spot. We have a lot of people that have said that they're maybe coming, maybe not coming. If you get your ticket, you're coming. You know what I mean? And you're guaranteed a spot. So book your ticket now, and we'll see you there.
Absolutely. Danielle is saying, I booked my table, guys. See you there. We'll see you there, Danielle. Honestly, I've got a lot of word that the tables are filling up pretty quick. A lot of people are buying their tables. So make sure you buy. It's free. Get your table. And literally, we got giveaways, $50 gift cards to Amsterdam, potentially some tickets, merchandise that you see all around us. like, guys, it's a win-win-win. Like, let's go.
No, it's going to be a hell of a time, folks. Let's transition and talk a little bit more about some spring training updates right now that could impact the opening day roster. One dude who we've brought up continuously on this channel and just need to hammer this point home. Alan Roden is tearing the top off the baseball, and he is still doing it. He's making a good impression right now with those Toronto coaches, management, everything like that, and rightfully so, dude. The guy's been playing amazing out there in the field too. He's making plays, right? So like he just looks like he belongs there. He wants to be there. He's comfortable here right now. I know it's spring training. I know these numbers mean less than nothing, but still, we're talking about a 1.4 OPS right now. Yeah. And it's just
Best
like,
on the
it's
team.
time, dude. It's time to have you on the Toronto Blue Jays.
I'm sorry. Like, I get it. It's spring training, but also there's the whole eyeball test right now. And I've been having the eyeball test with George Springer for quite some time. And my eyeballs are telling me that it's time to go ride the bench or split some playing time. And I think a guy like Alan Roden, who looks big league ready, taking great at-bats, patient at-bats, mind you. Pretty sure other than David Schneider. Wow, David Schneider's 9 walks this spring. That's crazy. That's another dude also. But he's got the second most walks, 6 walks, 8 hits, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, driving in runs, 5 RBIs. It's time. Also, think about the defense too, right? Like, go play some good defense out there and left. Go play some defense out there and right. Like, that's your corner outfield spot. Like, for me, there's not a huge loss when you start to think about George Springer as I play half the games kind of player. I mean, hell, for the last couple of years, John Schneider said, like, well, we got to give this guy we got to reduce his playing time a little bit because he's older. Like, he can't be on the field every single day. Well, here you go. Go put Alan Roden there, and then when it becomes apparently clear who the better player is, give them everyday playing time, and let's go to the postseason right now because Alan Roden is ready to go play.
Just out of curiosity, what does George Springer's spring training numbers look like right now?
Not good. He is 3 for 23 with a 130 batting average, and granted, on base he also has 6 walks. I've seen a lot of those at bats. They're not even pitching him close, but still. You know, it's just not that good right now. So also, I think we do got a dono in here.
Shout out to Abba Edgar here with another donation saying, I'd love to come, but I live in New Brunswick. Have fun, guys. Go Jays, go. Big Al is making the team on opening day. I hope you're right about that last part, dude. And yeah, of course, you know, for those of you who are, you know, way outside the GTA, we understand not being able to come. But if you are close by, I'm telling you guys, Amsterdam Brewhouse is the spot on March 27th. It is going to be lit. While you were talking about Alan Roden, I don't want to completely derail this talk, but Carlos Baerga just tweeted something out about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It's not like a major update or anything like that, but he's just adding some fuel to this fire. You know, again, grain of salt with this dude. Carlos Baerga really likes to throw out the shots
even more so with him,
way more so, I'd say, dude. Like, I still can never get over his graphics, too. They're just kind of hilarious to me. But he says, as I told you 5 days ago on my show, the Toronto Blue Jays team is desperate, and they know they have to sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr. because their fans and sponsors are putting pressure on him. They are talking to his agent. Let's see what will happen with the movie. Dude, I almost wonder if, like, you know, some of these Dominican boys are like looking out for Guerrero here or something like that.
I mean, look at Ortiz too, right? Like, he comes out and like defends it for, you know,
they're trying to help. Like, they're almost like trying to add fuel to the fire to spark the conversation again. Or I don't know, man.
See, I wonder. Conspiracy theory time here, everybody. I wonder if you're right, where Guerrero's like, let's get some push here. Let's get some public reactions going on right now to show the Toronto media or the Toronto front office, like, well, look, everybody really wants me to stay. If you just gave him this number, everyone's screaming like us, just give him the number, blah, 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 blah. It's obviously a conspiracy theory, but why else would they be doing this?
Yeah,
why else?
I don't know, unless of course it's actually accurate and they are super desperate and they are a bunch of sponsors that are like that would be something. If sponsors actually came out, you know, and like people in the Rogers Center, and we don't know this, right? But like, if sponsorships were there and they were thinking to themselves, if the Blue Jays don't have Guerrero, this team's gonna be terrible.
It's gonna be terrible. I'm not gonna renew my deal.
Like, you know, that 5-year deal that we have with you guys, you know, we're actually gonna opt out of that. That might move the needle. That would move the needle.
Yeah, it would.
That would be a change.
Dude, it's a business decision. Yes. Like, if you're seeing you're gonna lose money, like, go smash the deal, right? Like, let's say you're gonna lose $100 million of ad space, and
Well,
let's say
then it just makes monetary sense.
$50 million to spend more, and we'll get money.
We'll
back.
save the money back. You know.
I don't know. I'm not a business major, but you can do the math right there.
Simple finances at that point, man. That would actually move the needle if something like that's going on. Again, pure speculation at this point.
Yeah.
Hopefully they are on to something there. Back to Alan Roden and back to him and potentially getting playing time. Now it feels like the conversation is certainly picking up steam. Do you think he's making the opening day roster?
It's funny because every single week that goes by in spring training, I always say, like, we'll get back to this a week. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see in about a week. He's still doing it. Also, big shout out right here to Mr. Talon Pottle.
Talon right there, $2
Let's go.
donation with multiple people in the chat now saying, go live for the Tokyo series. It's at 6 a.m.,
6
everybody.
a.m., y'all.
You'd be killing us,
6 a.m.
Be killing us.
So, like, I have to come in from out of town. Like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Maybe, is it still on Wednesday?
Maybe Wednesday.
Maybe.
Wednesday.
Listen, we'll think about it, folks. Okay,
Yeah.
6 a.m.
6
is a tough one
though.
for the labs.
How many of y'all are going to be up at 6 a.m.?
Yeah, let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. Although it is going to be a lot of fun.
It will be. Going back to Alan Roden, like I said, 2 weeks ago, I was thinking, no, they're going to play it conservative. But I've now seen more at-bats from George Springer. He doesn't look good. I've seen more at-bats from Alan Roden. He clearly looks good. There has been no fall-off. For me at this point, fuck it. Bring him up to the major leagues. Start him on opening day. Or if you're not going to start him, like, maybe bench him and then play him game 2. Like, have him there for split playing time already with George Springer.
Yeah, man.
It's a big decision, but, like, if you're not playing well, George, I don't care how much money you make. You're not going to play. I would say the same thing about Vladdy when he's fucking 39 years old with the Jays. If he sucks and we have a better first baseman, play that guy. I don't care. But, yeah, I'm on the camp where I think I am actually leaning a little bit more over 50-50 that he will make opening day.
I think that, honestly, you want to talk about public outcry and all that stuff, like, every year this happens where there's a guy that comes in spring training and is, like, on the fringe and dominates, and everyone's like, you gotta have him. And this year it's Alan Roden. And I think that he is won over the public at this point with his state of play, and ultimately I know that there's all these things, playing time and, contract and service time and where are we going to put all this shit? Well, let me make it very simple, okay? Good teams have good players and have typically their best players on their team. Alan Roden right now feels like one of the better 26 guys in this organization, and for that reason alone, he deserves to be here.
And the whole thing about playing time, well, my mind's changed. George, you don't get playing time, buddy. Like, literally, like, I don't want you to, I'm sorry, like, you're not, is George Springer the best 26 men on this entire roster? George Springer?
We're very close to the answer not being yes.
How about this? Is he the best 9 hitters on the entire roster? It's starting to get to that conversation.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Right?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, and that is ultimately why I think Alan Roden should be on the team. He should make the opening day roster. We'll be very, very disappointed if he doesn't. Let's transition and talk about another one of those folks. This might actually help him make the opening day roster if they do what they're talking about here, which I don't want them to do, but they're thinking about it. Daulton Varsho, even after hitting 4 home runs in spring training as a DH, John Schneider right now kind of hesitant on what it is that he's going to do with them, and Keegan Matheson saying that Schneider threw some cold water on the DH idea. It's all very day-to-day, but a brief IL stint to open 2025 is feeling likeliest. I find that hard to believe after I've seen him sprinting the base paths and looking great out there.
Now, that counters my entire argument of like, well, you're going to play your best 26 men on opening day. Look, I don't care if he can't. Well, here's the thing. He's throwing 120 feet. And I get it. Like, he's got to throw his body around. You want to protect that shoulder or whatever. But still, he's throwing 120 feet, so you know he's close. And you also know that he can hit home runs, and he can put his bat in the lineup. He's the top 9 bat right now in the lineup. You're going to play your hottest guys right now. Why put him on an IL stint for at least 10 days and then get him cold and call him up? Keep his bat fresh, bring him up, DH him, bench him if you need to a couple days or whatever. And then when he's ready to go play center field, you don't have to make a roster move. You don't have to do all this shit. Just go and put him in the lineup in center field. I think that's personally kind of dumb if they start him on the IL.
I'm just assuming that they have some insider info that we don't have. But again, like, you're right. After seeing what I've like using my eyeballs and watching this guy in spring training and watching him destroy the baseball, and look again, like the way he's running looks great. So if he can throw hard and he can run fast and he can hit, what can't he do?
The little worry that they're worried about is his shoulder, like hitting up against the wall or diving or something like that, or like in being in 110% full effort, like throwing. Because right now he's just throwing.
Yeah.
You know, like sure you could do that, but like when you're 100% going all out, like maybe you re-aggravate it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, how far away is he from being fully healthy if he's already throwing 120 feet? Like, I think he's pretty close. He's at 10 more days away. Is he a week, 2 weeks away? Like, Buddy could be playing center field fucking come April.
Right.
You know, so that's why for me, like, go play him. And I mean, we're talking about the best guys at OPS. I lied. It's actually, other than the couple at bats that Robert Brooks has had,
he's playing 2
games. Daulton Varsho is the best OPS on the team in 22 at-bats because of the 4 homers and 9 freaking RBIs. Put this guy batting 4th behind Santander, please.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Like, listen, Daulton Varsho's bat is never going to be the strong suit, but for the 1 month of time when he's hot, to have him on the IL.
That's all I'm saying, man.
Like, we might as well soak the value out while we can get it, because I know that's not going to last all season.
That's literally what I'm saying. Like, why sit him and get him cold again, play AAA guys? Like, no, like, bring him up and get him ready for everyday at-bats at the big league level. So those are kind of the spring training updates. We're going to give a big shout-out right here to the next sponsor of this video before we announce the big announcement spoiler of who's going to be the opening day starter. Big shout-out, everybody, here to Tim Hortons. Guys, Roll Up the Rim is back. We only got 6 more days of Roll Up to Win, so you guys can win millions of amazing prizes, including donuts and coffees, guys. So go to your local Tim's app, download the Tim's app, no purchase necessary, available in Canada only. Guys, Roll Up to Win and win some amazing prizes. Opening day starter, everybody. Guess who it is? I guess this is what, the 3rd time in a row?
Is that what? Is that
I think
actually?
I think it might be like the 3rd time in a row. Someone correct me in the chat. It's La Maquina getting the opening day start, everybody. I felt like this was kind of obvious because he had that title already. He's healthy. He's looking good. Hell, he pitched 6 innings and gave up no earned runs yesterday. So he looks good to go. La Maquina, opening day starter. Thoughts?
Yeah, man. I think we kind of knew that this was coming after we saw how they were structuring the rotation and having Gausman go behind him. And it really was a question of, is it Gausman or is it Barrios? And you know that, Jose Barrios wasn't going to be the 5th pitcher in the rotation. So having him in front of Kevin Gausman effectively meant that, yeah, it's going to be La Maquina. There's just nobody more consistent than him when it comes to, he's going to start every day. He's going to give you 5 to 6 innings every day. He's going to give up a couple earned runs, but it's always quality. And you know that he is, he is a Toronto Blue Jay for still several years after this. So I like it, man. I'm hoping that he can start out similar to how we started last year. I mean, if you remember that like April to May stretch where Jose Barrios was like the guy, like he was leading MLB in ERA, I think, for a little while there.
Quality
at the very least,
starts.
like right up there. Obviously, kind of cooled off as the season went on. Still had a great year overall, but if we can start it like that, we're feeling
That's the thing. He always has that one stretch of time where like things kind of get away from him, and then he kind of has to like readjust and figure it back out again. But that's La Maquina. You know exactly what you're gonna get, and going into the spring or entering into the season, you know exactly what you're gonna get.
Is
right?
that true, Talon? It's the same opening day pitching matchup as last year, Barrios versus Eflin. Really?
Right, because Eflin was on Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Can you believe it?
So
that's
exactly
crazy.
Same opening day matchup. Interesting.
Wow.
Did we win or lose last year? I think we
won.
right?
And it was a 4-game series against the Rays. We won 3 of the 4.
Oh,
wow.
shit.
We were
We must
so
have been
hyped.
feeling so hype after
we were
that
so
series,
hyped.
and then it all just came crashing down.
Dude, I remember as well, George Springer started off hot. He hit like 2 homers in that series. I was like, okay, he's
all the way back.
He's back.
Yeah,
and then
right.
literally got ice cold. So
Yeah.
that'll be fun, guys. We're watching La Maquina at Amsterdam Brewhouse, everybody. And as well, the next day on Apple TV, you're going to have Kevin Gausman following La Maquina facing against the Baltimore Orioles. And the rest of the rotation is kind of up to question. However, I will say this. This is the lineups today, everybody. You do have Chris Bassett going in a split squad game again, and the other game is going to be Kevin Gausman. So if you just do some simple theory or critical thinking right here, you're going to assume that Chris Bassett's going game 3 most likely.
Probably Chris Bassett, and then after that, it's really like how is Max Scherzer feeling? There was like some, what was it? Like a
thumb issue.
Something. He is throwing
now.
to some bullpen guys. Hopefully he's fine. He's one of those dudes though that like if you're the Jays, I mean, try to give him as much time as possible because obviously he is 40 now.
Yeah.
When we know how good he can be on the mound, and you know when he's on the IL, obviously doing nothing for you.
Also, interesting note here: the Orioles starting with Eflin on day 1. Like that's really just again. I've been a big critical person of the whole Oriole rotation. Dang.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I think that there's something up with Grayson Rodriguez.
Yeah,
you know?
Grayson Rodriguez
like
is hurt too.
Yeah, like he won't be available for them, and like he's kind of like he would have, I would assume, been their other option, and you know he is not. I don't think he's ready yet. Throwing progression starts Tuesday. That was 17 minutes ago. He hadn't even started throwing, so he's. I don't think we're even going to see him in the in that first series.
A couple injuries. I mean, just like the Yankees, couple injuries. So that even the Orioles rotation.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my god, what?
And like
what
this is
team?
one of your better guys with upside. Like who you're kind of depending on. So to not have him, like if he does go down, that's going to be huge for them. Really bad.
Major guys. So that's the up there right there. Congratulations to Lab Makina, everybody. So hopefully he does some kick-ass stuff. Let's give a shout out, everybody, to the last sponsor of this Blue Jays Today show.
Whoa, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below to join the action. Only available in Ontario. Must be 19 years of older to participate. Please play responsibly. Now, everyone, back to the content. Also, shout out to Betway, guys. Shout out to Betway. We got the lines right here. Jid is saying we did not win 3 of 4 versus the Rays last year. Buddy is talking out of his ad. I assume to mean ass. I don't remember. I have no memory of what happened last year.
I know did we split it?
I have no memory. Memory. You guys.
I was drunk half the time.
I have no memory of what happened last year.
We definitely won opening day. I thought we won game 2. And then I thought we dropped game 3 and won game 4. And then
we lost 2-3. Yeah, says Talon. Wow, maybe
2 of 3. It was a 4-game series though, so I know that's not true.
We split. And nobody can remember.
Split. Nobody remembers what the hell going on. Oh, all right. Nobody remembers. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's a pass. Dodgers, Cubs tomorrow, or I guess tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Yeah, which G-Lo is still pushing for. Tell you what, G-Lo, listen, man. Maybe Wednesday morning. Maybe for game 2.
Potentially.
Maybe for game 2.
I can't, actually. I got to practice driving. I'm also getting my driver's license next week, everybody. So crazy. Okay. I got to practice my driving Tuesday night.
But if you are watching tomorrow, here are the odds for it. The Chicago Cubs are the underdogs. The Dodgers are significantly favored here, and I get it. Now, you know, you got home, away, whatever. Dodgers are home. Dodgers are at... You want to talk about, like, fan base being, you know, backing... Dodgers are at home. You got Ohtani.
Away.
Yeah, exactly. You got Ohtani. You got Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the bump for game 1. There's no Mookie Betts, so that's a little something. But, I mean, it's the Dodgers, and they're going to have all of the fan base behind them, man.
Yeah.
I think Dodgers are winning.
Dude, I like the odds of Dodgers -1.5 being 10.2 or 2.10 your multiplier. That's great. You put $10 down, you get back $21. I think that's a lock.
Yeah. Again, dude, like I'm not gonna be betting against the Dodgers very often this year, and especially when it's Yamamoto and Ohtani in Japan.
Yeah.
No.
They're winning. They're winning, guys. So if you want to bet on that, go download the app. Just down below in the description, or scan the QR code that was on the screen, y'all. Now, to the final segment of this video, excuse me, let's give a shout out to you guys, because you guys have your mailbag questions. If you want to submit a mailbag question for the next Blue Jays Today show coming up this Friday, go to the description down below, click the link down there, submit it through the Google form, and we'll bring it up right here on the podcast. We got 3 questions, 2 actually in from Talon Poddle, so shout out to Talon Poddle. They're asking, do you think that Miles Straw is good enough veteran presence to be on opening day roster, especially if Varsho can't play center field?
Listen, I think you have 2 different options here, and we discussed this a week ago. It's rather, do you want the safe option in Miles Straw, or do you want the exciting, sexy option in an Alan Roden? I think that as more time goes on, the sexy and exciting option of Alan Roden feels more appealing to me. However, Miles Straw does have really good defense out there, and that's something that the Blue Jays always like to come back to. If Varsho is actually on the IL, maybe that opens up even more spots. Maybe there's a possibility where both of them can make it. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on Miles Straw.
Yeah, like, look, if Varsho is on the IL, I think Miles Straw probably makes it. Now, the thing you have to do is clear up a roster space. Are they going to cut a position player? I was looking at the position players. Unless they make a trade, it's kind of hard to cut somebody. Unless they cut a pitcher, which there is some guys you could cut, but knowing the Jays, they probably want to keep as many guys as possible. So that's a whole complication right there. I think there's a route where you could bring up both Roden and Straw if you got rid of Joey Loperfido and have him play the minor. I think Joey Loperfido needs to spend some time in the minor leagues, guys. Like, I've seen this guy all spring. Like, there's still the hole in his swing. There really hasn't been a big adjustment. I mean, that like, for me, that's a dead spot right there. And, give me Miles Straw, who can at least provide me some good defense, and give me Alan Roden, who's a very exciting bat.
Yeah.
That's it for me. So maybe, it's possible. I don't think it's impossible to Miles Straw to make the team. So thank you for the question there, Talon Pottle. I know I got another question from you right here, also about making the opening day rosters, some of the rookies right here. Talon, another question in there is asking, do you think that Schneider or Barger is more likely to be on the opening day roster, or maybe both? Okay, well, let's first start with who is more likely, Schneider or Barger?
That's a really tough one for me. I know that when we were doing our little power rankings last week, there were some reports that people still think Schneider's going to be there and everything like that. But there was also reports that Barger's looking like he could be there too.
Yeah, like I think you had Ben Nicholson-Smith coming out saying Barger's like a guy who can make it and play some third base backup, maybe a little corner outfield.
I think there's a chance that both of them make it, honestly. I personally would prefer to see Addison Barger on the team just because, like, I'll be honest, I didn't love what we saw from David Schneider last year, but...
So pause on that note. Do you know what Schneider said about the whole hitting strategy, how he's kind of changed?
No, I didn't hear this.
There was a quote, I should have brought it up, but there's a quote of him being like, last year I felt like I was being told to hit singles the other way, and I was focused on chasing hits and hitting singles and hitting soft liners. Now, like, that's not what my game is. My game is doing damage, and this year I plan to do a lot of it.
Okay, cool, yeah.
So he's taken over the David Popkins approach.
You know what, and I respect it. He's throwing Guillermo Martinez under the bus. That's fair.
And maybe a little bit of Don Mattingly, too.
Yeah, and you're allowed to do so, man. Like, let's face it, those guys sucked. So,
they were awful.
like, throw him under the bus. And maybe if David Popkins is the guy for you and you're all the way back, like, I will, give me a week of hot David Schneider and I'll be all the way back on the train, baby.
Right.
As of right now, I still like Barger's upside a bit more, but who's going to make the opening day roster?
Who's more likely?
It's so tough, man.
Yeah, I know. There's so many guys. I still don't know. The only lock for me is Tyler Heineman. Like, he's the only lock for me making that bench. Maybe Will Wagner, too. Okay, I'll probably say Schneider, and here's my reasoning why. He's been on the team for a while. He's hot. So is Barger this spring, but he's hot right now this spring. And they have a lot of lefty options off the bench, and they need a righty.
Right.
So for me, it's like, if you want to play matchup a bit, Barger's already lefty. Like, you have so many lefty options with Will Wagner, and if you call up Alan Roden and Miles Straw, like, get a righty option in there, and maybe they play that.
Yeah, that might be the case, dude. I'll be honest, I don't have any strong reasoning either way. That feels like a good enough reason for me to buy in, but I could seriously see this going either way.
Yeah, it could be. Dude, we're gonna have to make a podcast eventually, like probably next week, like predicting the opening day roster, and
there better be some
idea.
Updates between now and then, man, because that's gonna just be a complete shit show.
I know. Your guess, guys, is as good as mine.
There's so many people in that tier of we're good, but we're not great, and
we're unproven,
but we have upside, but. I don't know, man.
Dude,
we got one
crazy.
more question for you guys. While you're here, please hit that like button and subscribe to Blue Jays Today, folks. And seriously, I cannot hammer this home anymore. March 27th, free to come. There's lots of giveaways. There's going to be free food samples, free beer samples. We're going to be giving away tickets to Jays games. We're going to be giving away gift cards to Amsterdam Brew House, merchandise. It's going to be lit, guys. Totally free to sign up. So just like literally hop in the description. Get your ticket now. Plan it out, man. You got a week of time to tell your boss you're not going to be there. Let's go to the final question here from Boom Must Die. What does Ernie have to do to be the starting second baseman or third baseman following this season? Who hits more home runs this season, Clement or Springer? So that's a good one at the end there. Honestly, like Ernie, I think Ernie needs to weather the Will Wagner and Relvis Martinez storm. I'll put it this way. There's no way he's going to be the starting second baseman. No. Because Andres Jimenez is locking that one up for a couple more years. So that's off the table. His future is going to be at the third base bag. Right now he has it. He needs to continue to play well, and he can't have Will Wagner and or, Relvis Martinez and or someone else that I'm not thinking of, blow up and then kind of overtake that job.
Yeah.
So
it's very simple. Be the best third baseman on the team and be better than the third baseman that the Blue Jays might consider going and signing next offseason.
It's your job to lose now. So, like, the ball's in your court. If you play well, you're going to keep it.
Ooh, actually, I didn't consider this. Talon saying Jimenez could be shortstop if Bo leaves. Okay, so that's true, actually.
Yeah, I didn't think
I actually didn't even think about that.
That's true.
Okay, well, there will be an option.
That changes things then. Yeah, that might change things there.
Okay, be better than the top two on the depth chart of third and second base, and you'll find an everyday playing time.
What the fuck do we do if Bo? Like, I guess
it's him and a shortstop now.
Is there shortstops on the free agent market? Is that an option? Yeah, I know Bichette, but like,
no, we're kind of. Oh, you know what it is? We band-aid until we get Namala up. Band-aid until Manamala, baby.
Band-aid until Arjun. And then for your second half of my question right there, who hits more home runs this season, Clement or Springer?
How many did Ernie hit? I thought he hit like 8 or 10. Yeah, I thought he hit like 10 or something.
Not a lot.
Springer hit like 18 or something.
I mean, that's a tough one.
Here's what it comes down to for me. Is Springer going to be healthy? And how much playing... basically, same question. How much playing time is Springer getting?
Yeah.
Because Ernie's going to get the playing time.
He got 12 home runs. We were doing him dirty. We're doing him dirty.
So you got, 6 less than Springer?
Probably. I don't know what George Springer got. I think something 18, like 19? that. 19 home runs. 7 less.
So you got 7 less than Springer. So basically, I don't think Ernie's going to hit more. I think he'll probably maybe 15, maybe. I don't know. But
15 home runs from Ernie Clement.
Maybe, And then is George going to hit less than 15?
Probably. I think he might, dude.
I really do think that Springer will lose his playing time this year. I think they would be dumb not to. So yeah, give me Ernie and more.
Wow, we are like hating on George.
Dude, I mean, yeah. It's been 3 years, George, since you've been actually good. Well, you've been average the year prior of last year. Now you're a little bit less than average. Now I don't know what the hell I'm going to expect from you.
Wow. Listen, guys. I really hope that George Springer can shut us the hell up, dude. Because
that'd be amazing.
Yeah, we're haters right now, and I would love to see you get back to the Springer dinger. But folks, that is the Blue Jays Today show for today, guys. If you haven't already done so, hit that like, smash the subscribe button. Let us know your thoughts about everything that we talked about in the comments down below. If there is any Vladdy extension updates or anything like that, of course, we will be live immediately on this channel discussing it and everything like that. And a quick shout out to Mr. Julius, the $5 dono, saying, I hope Addison Barger is the regular third baseman man this season. Not unthinkable for it to happen. A couple things we need to go right for the guy, but
couple injuries,
too. Couple underperformances, whatever. But I certainly hope for him to be getting a lot more time on the field this year.
Yeah, let's see what happens, guys. It's gonna be a fun season, and we're only 10 days away. We'll see y'all there, hopefully at Amsterdam Brewhouse.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and as always,
go Jays, go!